Of the show, 7 minutes past 9 o'clock this morning. It's Friday, the 22nd of July 2022. This is Smart Means Business. Like I said, before the break, when we return in the third hour, we're going to be discussing a broad perspective of things. One is the details to do with they just concluded Uganda South Sudan Business Forum, and on that particular regard, Barija Andrew is on ground and he's going to be giving us opinions from traders on how and which expectations are there from that particular field, with South Sudan and Uganda having bilateral relations and these particular corporations. What does that mean for Uganda today? And pretty much that is what we're going to be having in discussion with Barija Andrew, who is on ground in Kampala. And then later on, I do have two guests, and we're going to be discussing details to do with poetry. Yes, poetry. That is more of content creation, poetry, poets. Today we're speaking a lot of different things in art, I should say, and how which kind of business is in that field of poetry or in that space of poetry. So that is what we're going to be having today in the show. Full packed hour of key discussions in regards to business matters. So this is your morning Kickstarter, like I normally tell you, and we are definitely here to drive your business from a wide scope of a lot of things. One, looking at the perspective of entertainment and business, and also as well broadening up different situations regarding business every single day as it does happen. And I don't know whether my producer's already got Barija Andrew to at least give me a sneak peek of what is happening on ground and more of that detail. So do I have Barija Andrew on ground already? All right, I'll be getting Andrew within a minute, and we're going to be discussing more about how things are moving and how things are with the just concluded South Sudan Uganda Trade Business Forum. Well, amongst the key discussions that, by the way, that were happening during this particular forum was that the traders in South Sudan and the leaders in South Sudan, business leaders and the political leaders, were actually saying that Ugandans who are trading in there are having fake documentations. And this is actually affecting, one, regulating them, then secondly, affecting how business is being done in Juba and in South Sudan. We've got a number of Ugandans who are actually trading their plight in South Sudan, businesses, and then various traders who are in there. So it's pretty much more of a discussion that we're going to be having this particular morning. More and more of the details as they were happening in there. So we did have a team, by the way, in South Sudan who are actually covering and bringing to us all the details there. So we had private sector players from Uganda, private sector players from South Sudan, who were as well in there in quite a number of players. And one of the key discussions was, one, looking at the political instability. For the recent years, by the way, there's been some stability, some good stability, which has facilitated trade in South Sudan. And that has definitely been a key point that has helped people boost their business in there. Ugandans who are trading there, Nimule, talk about Nimule, Juba, and then also South Sudanese who are actually working in here in Uganda. So that relation between Uganda and South Sudan has definitely been a key brotherhood situation, or we can actually say it has helped us build stronger bonds day in, day out. So amongst the key discussions that Barija Andrew is going to be having on ground this morning is how Ugandan traders are going to benefit from this particular business forum that was ongoing between Uganda and South Sudan, as we want to understand where are the chances. Do we have bigger chances? Because we've been looking at opportunities with the DRC, and now South Sudan comes in as well. Remember, Kenya returned to Uganda, and they are already receiving our maize, and they would wish to get the maize again. So this time around, we get on ground with Barija Andrew to at least have more of what is coming in from there this morning with the SMB on ground. All right, Barija Andrew, you can as well tell us what is happening, where you are, and give us more details of the discussion.
Also cool. And today we are right here at Kampala, Keda's Advocacy Forum, and we are going to discuss the South Sudan Uganda Business Forum that has been just launched just 2 days back. That's in South Sudan, and this avails quite a number of opportunities for Ugandan traders, and in particular those in Kampala. And right here with me is one of the co-founders of the Kampala Arcaders Advocacy Forum, and we are discussing the opportunities for the traders in Kampala as a result of this forum. Mr. Muzamil, you're live on Smart 24 TV. Make an introduction.
Well, Kwevia Muzamil Abol is my name. Public Relations Kampala Arcaders Advocacy Forum, and as one of the founding director of this organ, Kampala Arcaders Advocacy Forum (KAFO), as in brief, it's a forum of traders, big traders of this country that are uniting the umbrella of KAFO, as in arcades of Kampala, the 783 arcades. So it creates a very big platform of business.
So recently there's been a conclusion of the South Sudan Uganda Business Forum. Let's examine the opportunities that are available for the Ugandan traders.
Well, it's really a very big opportunity that the business forum that was just held in Juba by the Minister Luoko of Trade, Minister of Southern Sudan. It's a great opportunity for a reason that Uganda is looking at Southern Sudan with big interest. It's so much in the business to benefit the local business, entities within the Great Lakes region, as in the East African community. When you look at Southern Sudan, just 2021 March as there was COVID, we exported we did business which was worth 387 million US$. That was really so much. So like Uganda is likely to benefit more because like Southern Sudan just exports business in here, imports business in Uganda of just 10 million US$. Look at us that we are exporting business worth 481 million US$. That's really, a very big advantage. So just about 30 business, enterprises thought of coming together and made this, trade forum a reality. So as we really welcome it, and we urge you, the traders, to take this opportunity and enhance the benefits out of it.
Then talking about, that opportunity is right there. But then I believe in something called preparation. How best can the traders in Uganda prepare themselves to tap into that opportunity?
Well, you see, some other times experience gives you a better platform of arrangement. Just the way back as we are dealing with Southern Sudan, we're dealing with them in a scanty way, in a way that was so much informal and they were not formalized. That's why at some point we really lost a lot of business, and there was no way that the government of Southern Sudan would really compensate the Ugandan business community, because you really understand when they went into political anarchy, when there was this conflict, the internal conflict between Machar and the current president Salva Kiir, there was a lot of business loss and loss of lives. So Ugandans came up with a demand. They wanted to be compensated. But who was to be compensated? Who was within the database? So this time around, we're looking at business community going to Southern Sudan in a formalized manner. They formalize the business, let the business get to be known in both in two countries or in the Great Lakes region. Let it be into the database. Let it be registered so that you enter Southern Sudan when you are so much formalized, to avoid this other experience we had, whereby even today the businessmen are demanding, we lost things in Southern Sudan. Who is supposed to pay? But the government is also asking them, who are you? Who are you? Please, can you probably come out in authenticity and prove that you are a credible business person? Because when you talk about at any business, any enterprise, it must be legally registered. It must have all the credentials. So this time around, however small the business is, then it should go in Southern Sudan well formalized to avoid these other hiccups we had in the past. Yes.
Well, then there has also been this attribute whereby people say that Ugandan traders go to South Sudan and they do businesses which, can I call them petty businesses? And South Sudanese say that they don't expect Ugandans to do those businesses. They expect them to do much more bigger businesses. What's your take on that?
Well, the problem is that I think Ugandan business community has not been sensitized enough. You see, Southern Sudan may not blame us for that. for a reason that they themselves, as a country, they were just in, it was a scratch. You see, Southern Sudan has just cut off itself from Sudan itself, the other upper Sudan of former Bashir. And Uganda was part of this, arrangement of trying to see that the Southern Sudan becomes independent. And therefore, within their structures, they were not very organized as in the government. So a small businessman probably went and gave relief. I would call it a relief. In any way, anyhow is a how. And that's how Ugandans try to save the Southern Sudan community. Because they had cut off the political ties from the north. And therefore, us in the south, as Ugandans, we went in any way, and we helped. We helped because right from water, I would see people going in, and they would do business as in water. Water is life, and then they would sell water to Southern Sudan. If they did not even have the drinking water that was for human, consumption, then it's not bad if somebody went and took some food stuff. So basically, they needed basic things, and that's how small they were, and we treated them in that manner. So therefore, this time round, we are going in a better venture, because Uganda has a record of registering the highest number of companies every year. Only that at the end of the year, 80% of the companies will have collapsed. That's in history. 80% of the companies registered at the URSB, Uganda Registration Bureau Services, they collapse at the end of the year. So this time round, businesses are going to go in a formalized manner. I think you see that if there is a forum, the business forum that is created, then the business circles are trying to arrange themselves better at a private level, which is really good. I'll give you an example. Before trade organs came into Kampala, as in Uganda, people like Akedas had issues, and CAFO had to come in. There it's a big voice. When you want to talk about tax issues, when a URA want to have a harmonious entrance into the business community, then it passes through the CAFO. Then that is harmony. Now, the small businesses, however small it is, we so much urge them to probably see how they really get formalized. And once they get formalized, that's a great deal. So Southern Sudan cannot blame us for coming in a scanty manner. They were scanty too.
All right, that's so interesting. Now, we are talking about this opportunity. According to your experience, how has it been? Like, what is that item that can be traded most for South Sudan, that item that has the greatest market that can be traded by the traders in South Sudan?
Well, first of all, we are looking at our value addition in Uganda. Bubu, buy Uganda, build Uganda. I would give it, some kind of, I would give it 100%, interest of export. So like, as in Uganda, within our value additions, what do we have? We are having the food stuff. The food stuff is much produced in Uganda right now. Look at the soft drinks as in Uganda. So food stuff. Then when it comes to building materials, look at the building material companies. Look at roofing. So therefore, we should export Ugandan products. Food stuff. Look at soft drinks, look at building materials. Those are the things that we've been exporting. But this time round, I'm saying that we should not so much export them in raw form. Let us give them some value, so that the value added process is also giving some kind of employment to the country. Because like, that's what the president was talking about. He was talking about the coffees which is being exported abroad in a raw form. We are losing. Surprisingly, when 1 kilogram of coffee is exported to London, to America, to wherever it is exported, then if 1 kilo here is being sold around $1, then when it gets abroad, can you imagine it is scooping over $7,000? That's a lot of money. So because you didn't add value, so therefore we are looking at exporting food stuff, building material. That's why we've concentrated so much, and very soon we shall also start exporting things that are related with the technology. That's very true, because like if you look at the the motor vehicle, kind of processing plant that we have, the Kira. We very soon we shall export these buses that we are seeing. So that means we're also advancing in technology, and we are likely to export.
Then as we conclude, what's the role of government in this?
Well,
in brief.
Well, the role of the government, first of all, it should ensure that there is peace, there is stability. We don't want to lose money in Southern Sudan again. It would really be very, very bad. So therefore, first of all, the Southern Sudan government also should ensure security to our people, because we've also had reports whereby like that the Ugandans are being mistreated so much. And therefore, what pains me most, I think we have got some kind of corporate companies that are not being exported. Kenya is exporting KCB, Kenya Commercial Bank. Ugandan Bank is not really there. That's also a great loss. So I think we should enhance that level. I remain yours, Kwebia Mzamila, World Public Relations Couple. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, and that's what we had on the ground, SMB. Today we are discussing the South Sudan Uganda Business Forum, the possible opportunities. Back to studio.
Things do happen, but on the other keynote is you need to make sure that your documents are on point. That is something that they need to know of. Marija Andrew was on ground in there. Now let's switch our eyes to our topic of discussion this morning. Another one, as we are going to be discussing poetry. Yes, poetry business. I was actually trying to understand this before I actually went on air, but the guest will tell me more about this. With me, I'm joined by Caroline Achen, who is from the EcoMinds Poets, and we're going to be discussing poetry business. How can the art of poetry be professionalized in the country? Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Thank you for joining us, Carol.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. For a viewer out there who would want to understand, what is poetry in art? What is poetry, by the way? I don't want to say in art. What is poetry?
Poetry is an art form that includes expression, expression and also language. It's our everyday life, because when we write poetry, we write about the things that, go on around us. So it's an old art form.
Oh, right.
Yeah. That uses mostly, metaphor, imagery and, and different forms of language and expression, to communicate.
All right.
Yeah.
So I would want to believe that this is a profession like no other, for example, like any other rather, in art, let's say entertainment and all that. How do you differentiate it from any other sort of entertainment? Okay,
it's an art form, like all the other art forms, like music, dance. Poetry is differentiated because for it uses mostly language.
Okay.
It's the form of expression of poetry can't be, like compared to the other art forms, because we write and we express it. So when we write a poem, it's supposed to be felt. The words are supposed to be felt. Unlike music, which is replicated